where's James Harden?
James Harden.
Is James Harden faking then? Because he came back, played one game, and then he missed another game. So he faking?
Who you got winning the East?
I just asked you a simple question.
Who you got winning the East? That's the simplest question.
No, but
I got the Nets. I'll bet you got the Nets.
But that's not what we're talking about, Skip.
We're talking about why was LeBron James out there showboating, front running, hot dogging, when his coaches are obviously sitting over there just rolling their eyes thinking, we got to get him out.
Because the guy needs repetitions. This Skip, he needs reps. He hasn't played but 4 games in 8 weeks. 8 weeks. He's the centerpiece. He's the linchpin. He's the guy that makes it go for everybody. If he's off, it does not matter what AD does. It does not matter what Drum does. It does not matter what Schroeder does.
So you realize that there was another game obviously going on simultaneously in Portland, but for some reason that game was going a lot faster than the Skeletons game was going. Well, and it was completely over by halftime anyway.
Right.
So there was literally nothing left to play for, right? And they're up 13 at this point already anyway. So if you're just talking about we got to feel good to win our last game of the year, you've already got it in hand. You don't need the king on the court. So in other words, 13 points. So 13 points. So how many times have we seen teams come back from 20? We just saw the Boston Celtics come back against your San Antonio Spurs when they were down 26. You remember that, Skip Bayless? Here are the Skeletons left on the court. We talked about Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Hernan Gomez was out there, and James Johnson, who might be 42 years old, and Kyra Lewis Jr., who I think is still like 19, and James Nunley, and I doubt he'll even be on the team next year. That's who you were up against, and you think that team's going to come back from 13 to beat you?
Hey, I saw the Rockets. You see what the Rockets did to somebody the other day? Or did the Rockets beat somebody the other day? Who did they beat?
They weren't playing anybody. You know why? That's a great point. They did that, and so did the Thunder do it to my Clippers because there was no Kawhi. He wasn't out there risking life and limb. There was no Paul George. There was no Marcus Morris. We can keep going down the line.
Why? Why?
Because they are protecting their players for the last 2 meaningless games that do not matter.
Because they don't want what?
Oh, stop
I would
it.
rather see.
We will talk about that in just
you
a
know
moment.
what time it is, Skip Bayless. Don't be slick.
Exactly
you
what
try to
time
be
it is.
slick, but you ain't.
No, I'm not slick. They just said no. We've got 2 fragile players, as you always point out, in Kawhi and Paul George. Why would you risk playing against the Rockets and the Thunder, 2 of the worst teams in basketball, if not the 2 worst teams in basketball?
If you don't mind me asking, so what about the Knicks? Did they play against the Knicks? Did Paul George, did Kawhi, did Rondo, did Pat Bell? I want to know who it is sitting out there against the Knicks.
Okay, and your point is what?
What happened?
They lost.
Oh,
the
they
Knicks
lost.
were on fire.
They lost? The Knicks?
What do I always tell you about 12:30 starts in the Pacific time for the Clippers? They have a notorious history of blowing those games. They do not show up. And if you tell me that all 7 games that they're about to play against whomever in the playoffs, first round against Dallas, if they have to play all 7 of those games at 12:30 Pacific time in their building with nobody there, they can have 11% capacity. They will lose all those games.
You know what? This is what I never heard. When LeBron James got injured, or when they lose a game, you never mention anything about the start time. All you talk about is how poorly he played, how poorly the Lakers played. Now the Clippers lose, and you talk about a start time.
All I know is if the Lakers can manage to get to the conference finals, they will lose to these Clippers because they're just too good.
You need
they're
to worry
just
about
better than your
Skip,
team.
You said that last year. You need to worry about that. I thought it was going to be Kawhi Town. I thought PG y'all was doing a hostile takeover.
I wanted the Lakers so badly in the first round. I wanted
No, you didn't.
I was on my knees for it.
All you had to do was keep playing.
Yeah,
all you had to do was keep playing.
We just needed it.
Keep playing.
We needed it.
Keep playing.
You guys kept falling and falling.
Keep playing.
And you fell all the way into the play-in game. LeBron James is going to play a 1-game play-in against Golden State.
Yeah, he is.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And I got to believe that his coaches were over there thinking, we got to get him out, except LeBron James pulls himself out of games. He puts himself in games because he is the unofficial head coach of that team. And you cannot tell me I didn't blame on Twitter, Instagram. I did not blame Frank Vogel because he has nothing to do with the choices LeBron makes on in or out of games.
So let me ask you a question. So what choice does Steve Nash have determining how much Kyrie, Kevin Durant, or James Harden play? How much say does he have?
I have no idea.
Exactly. You do.
I haven't watched closely enough to know.
So let me ask you a question.
It hasn't shown itself yet. We'll see.
You and I both know, Skip, superstars have always controlled their minutes. This is not new. Don't make it seem like, see, the problem that I have with people is that they try to make things exclusive to LeBron James. Well, LeBron James didn't want the coach and the coach got fired. There have been other superstars that says either him or me. There have been other superstars that says, I'm going to play when I want to play. And they, okay, I get that. But don't make it exclusive to LeBron to try to make it seem like, oh, LeBron James does whatever he wants. Superstars have always done that.
Okay, so you were admitting that was his choice to be out there, right?
It was the team's choice, Skip. LeBron, listen, I'm sure there have been times that the team says, LeBron, we need you to take a break. And he says, I'll see how I feel. I feel okay. LeBron, shut it down. LeBron wanted to come back. He might have come back a week early because he wanted to see, Skip, the last thing you want to do is that you go 8-9 weeks without playing, and then your first game back on that ankle is a play-in game or a playoff game. That's the last thing you want. So let me see where I am. Damn, I ain't nowhere near where I need to be. I need another week or so. Take that. He comes back. He looks better, but he still doesn't look 100%.
Okay,
to me.
so now it's time for me to allow you to build back in the excuse that was built in for the last 6 weeks. What percent is LeBron's ankle now going into Wednesday night?
Skip, I told you he looks like he's about 85%.
85% says LeShannon.
Yes.
Sharp. 85%. So he has a 15% injury excuse.
No.
Right?
We don't do excuses. If you get the job done, that's what I've been telling you about when Kawhi and them lost, about not wanting to be in the bubble. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't allow excuses at Club Shay. Dubs or L's. That's all on my menu.
So after LeBron got swept by Golden State a few years back, he shows up for the post-game interview with some kind of weird brace on his hand, on his shooting hand, like to send the message to the media. I hurt my hand. I think I fractured it hitting the chalkboard after the first game that we blew because I refused to take the last shot.
We can do all that we want to, but you and I both know he could have had a cast on both hands. They were not beating the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors were the superior team. You know that. I know that. See, taking one game off somebody does nothing for me. Maybe that makes you feel good, say, well, he got a game. But if you don't win the series, you've accomplished nothing. Just like LeBron James has never lost in the first round. Well, if he loses, he loses. They ain't got nothing to do with no, I don't place it on injuries. Either you win or you lose. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so here's my prediction. If LeBron and company manage to lose to Golden State on Wednesday night at home, I believe LeBron will come to the postgame interview with his ankle heavily wrapped with ice, and he will put it up on the table.
Well, how many cases do we got on the game?
Well, I've already told, I'm on the record last week. I said this is going to be a rout. That's what I believe.
No.
It's going to be a rout.
Rout. How you going to say if they lose and they going to say it's going to be a rout in the same breath? You can't, two things cannot be true in this situation.
I'm just saying if they manage. I use the word manage.
No, they don't manage.
Okay.
Well, I want to manage you to give me some cases to do on this.
Well, I thought you thought Golden State was dangerous, right?
Skip, it's one game.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in one game.
Anything can happen.
Thank
you.
Yes.
That's why.
But they put 5 cases because I don't believe it happened in this game. I do believe anything can happen, just not this game.
We'll talk about that in just a moment.
You scared.
Shall we? Yeah, a couple cases on it.
Scared.
I'm not scared of you.
Scared like your team tanking, not to see us in the first round.
Let's talk about that,
shall we? I think we should. There is plenty to discuss. So will the Warriors derail the Lakers' chances to defend the title? And then will the Clippers actually regret avoiding Shannon's guy, LeBron, early? Don't go anywhere. We have a lot to talk about today. Stay with us.
No mercy, no mercy.